Good morning, everyone. I'm Rodney Reynolds. So what I'll do is I'll go through, like I always do every Saturday morning, is the questions here. On the right side of the screen, you'll see all these wonderful things called polls, and I'll go through those. And by the way, if you ever want to suggest a poll, post in one of the polls. Terry does all the time. He makes suggestions. Sometimes I think they're good. Sometimes I don't. So, yeah, good. And then after I finish that, I'll go to some other things that I have. I'm going to cover something to do with NVIDIA, something to do with MSI Afterburner, also body cam gaming, the perspective of a body cam. That seems to be the next kind of there's first person, there's third person, and there's body cam now. So it looks brilliant. The Unreal 5 engine, some treats to behold for sure in the future when it comes to gaming. It's going to get to the point where it's going to be real, and why not? That's awesome. And Google VPN, that's another one I'll be covering at the end of the video, or in the middle somewhere, who knows? It depends on how long this video goes. And also a little bit about Netflix, not much, just a little bit about them. So let's go to the first, and then after all that, I'll get to your questions, and maybe I'll monitor the chat here as we go. And by the way, since I'm not really in the live chat area, it's on OBS, which I'm using. If you guys see any craziness going on here, you can report it. And I think it will be removed. But I don't really care what happens in the chat, to be honest. If you want to be nuts, that's on you completely. But I hope you'll be respectful and, treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. So if you do that, you should be all right. And, not get reported and whatnot. So here we go. So let's get to the first one. Let's get through this, not in rapid fire, but let's get through it as fast as I can possibly get through it, because sometimes I do tend to ramble on and on and on. So here we go. So it looks like Ricky, there's probably others here. I don't know. I'm not monitoring, like I said, the live stream area itself directly, but it looks like it's just myself and Ricky here this morning. So just you and me, man. Anyway, so let's go. So the first one here is one that was suggested by Terry again. And the question is, do you miss video game manuals? The questions are absolutely, kinda, not at all. Now, myself personally, I have to say, I have to lean more towards not at all. But it's somewhere between kinda and not at all for me. I never was one to really spend a lot of time reading manuals to games, to be honest. I kind of just dove right in and played the game. And a lot of games, over time, they have tutorials at the beginning. So, if you're pretty proficient when it comes to gaming, you'll get a grasp on it pretty quickly. And today, of course, all you need to do is Google it and you get answers almost immediately. So yeah, why is there a need for a manual today? Then maybe people, like manuals and gaming manuals, and they were used to doing it. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, if you want to read gaming manuals, that's great. And if games are overly complicated and extremely complicated, then you might need a gaming manual. And a lot of games these days are that. A lot of games, I think, these days are a lot more sophisticated than they used to be in the past. I mean, if you look back at some of the games, like, for example, Wolfenstein or Doom or Quake, I mean, they're pretty simple first-person shooter games for the most part. You had a number of gun options. Back then, I don't even know if you could upgrade the guns, really. It wasn't much of an option, maybe the ammo or something. But, I mean, now it's just, the management systems inside of the games are so sophisticated. I mean, if you look at games like Fallout 4, that's just an example. That's just one of them, right? Even Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, it's very, very sophisticated, right? It gets down, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 gets down to the detail of being able to engrave, on your weapon. Like, how far removed is that? But it adds a realism, certainly, to the game that I do enjoy. Yes, so that's my kind of take on, do you miss video game manuals? I don't know if you guys, miss video game manuals. The consensus here seems to be, this is a poll that I actually released recently today. So there's not too many votes on this, but around 100 votes so far. People say they kind of do miss the gaming manuals. So, So, yeah, Gregory on here is saying that I will take a cool physical manual over a long tutorial any day. See, there you go. So there are people that would rather read a manual very quickly than, go through a long, drawn-out tutorial. And, each to their own, I guess, right? Okay, on to the next one. Do you enjoy playing retro or classic video games? Now, I thought this was a great question because I don't really know. I can't gauge this one, to be honest. I don't know if people like playing retro games or classic games, or if they want to have all this new fancy stuff. So apparently, yeah, they do. Yes, I love them. That's the majority of people. Not really is next. And no, I don't play them. And you know what? I'm a little strange when it comes to this. I really don't like super retro or classic games. I mean, I came from Pong. Well, I came from, way Pong, Commodore 64, VIC 20s. I came from that kind of generation, the 80s, right? So I played all this stuff way back then. I kind of been there, done that, progressed through that, I guess. So maybe for me, I wouldn't have an interest in going back and playing them because I played them already. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. But for me, I don't go back and play retro or classic games much. I mean, I might just dip into one from time to time if it gets remade or something, but otherwise, no. And then when it's remade, it's not really looking and feeling like a retro game, is it? I find them very cumbersome, very hard to play. I just don't have the time to devote to that. I'd rather devote time to something that I would like to devote time to, which is usually games from 2015 onward. I find the graphics, the management systems, and just everything about a lot of games released after 2014, 2015, I think they really kind of started to get to a point where they became awesome. I mean, when I kind of got back into this after a little bit of a hiatus from playing games, I went through a lot of these older games and did a lot of research into which ones that, reviewers thought that they were worth playing and whatnot. I was following the industry somewhat over that little bit of a break, but still, I mean, one of the games, for example, that I played, which I thought was brilliant, which is completely underrated, is Mad Max. If you haven't played this game, this is a third-person Mad Max post-apocalyptic world, right? Incredible, absolutely incredible game. Just beautiful overall. If you haven't played Mad Max, you can pick it up for probably less than $5. That's just incredible. That's just an incredible game. It's probably one of the better games that I've ever played, to be honest. And I don't know why I guess it seemingly got trashed when it first came out. I'm not exactly sure why, but anyway. I thought it was a fantastic game, but that's not really a retro game or a classic game, right? That's from maybe 2015. I'm not sure, 2016. So no, not for me. Asteroid. What about Asteroid? Yeah, right. I played that. I did play that game, but I played all those games growing up. That's my point, though. I mean, I played them. I've been through them. I've experienced them, and I really don't want to go back. I guess if I didn't have to sleep, then I would, play some of this stuff. Titanfall. Yeah, make sure you play Titanfall. I'm not sure which is the latest one. I think it's 2, right? I think that's the last one. I believe is the last one. I did play that one. I liked it. It was good. The graphics were great as well. Yeah. Yeah. So all right, good stuff. I like the fact that there's a few in here with me at the start of this show this morning. That's good. So thank you guys for getting up or being here. Either one of these. You see this game here? It's soon to be over. There's a free trial. I really don't like these free trials. If you're going to offer the game free, straight up, or a demo. But a free trial, I tried this game, Aliens Fireteam Elite. Did you guys try this game? What did you think of it if you did try it? Aliens, Sigourney Weaver, one of the best movies ever released, ever, period, hands down. And there was a lot, certainly, for the series to live up to, no matter if it's another movie or a game. And this does nothing. This game, Aliens Fireteam Elite, does nothing for the movie, but it's not supposed to. This is kind of like a co-op run and gun and shoot aliens. And for that, it's excellent. For a single player game, no, it's monotonous and it's just not good. But for co-op, yes, I can see where it would be a hell of a lot of fun for sure. I have played the Alien Isolation, I believe it's called. Awesome. If you haven't played Alien Isolation, I think that was free at one moment. I'm not sure. Probably on Epic. And that was I've played that one from start to finish. You know what I hate? I hate buying a game and it's so bad. You try your best to get into it, and you just can't do it. You just can't. Despite the fact that you spent your hard-earned money on it, you can't finish it. There's no way you can finish it. So, yeah, I'm just reading. If you ever see me like staring away from the camera in silence, I'm just reading comments here. Aliens, Gregory agrees with me. Aliens is probably the greatest movie ever made. Definitely. A Terminator also, Mad Max, the original Mad Max. Man, I tell you, there are so many things, so many wonderful things that came out of the 80s. I mean, it was just in the music. God. I was listening to some Heart the other night. Or it just came up into my feed or something. And the band, the rock band, Heart. Wow. I don't listen to a lot of 80s music, to be honest. I don't listen to a lot of music, period, these days. When I'm driving, for example, in my vehicle, I usually listen now to podcasts. But, comes and goes, right? You listen to music, you don't. You listen to podcasts, you don't. You do this, you don't. But, wow. Man, some great stuff came out of the 80s, that's for sure. All right, next one here. What was the most memorable gaming experience you've ever had? Well, I think these polls are really lining up very well. So, what was the most memorable gaming experience you've ever had? With an older game, with a newer game, with a current game, or other? This kind of surprised me a little bit as well. And it's good to see. I've got a great audience here. You guys are great. With an older game, Now, I should have really specified, I suppose, this in greater detail. You know, what defines an older game? Probably before 2010, right? Something that's 20 years old at least. But for me, I'm kind of, if a newer game is brilliant and great and works, like Red Dead Redemption 2, Mad Max, Fallout 4, Alien Isolation, whatever. Those are the ones that come to my mind right now. But they're awesome, right? I mean, the graphics are great. Everything about the game is wonderful. But older games can also be just. And you know, one game that really pops into my mind that it was great, Call of Duty, first and second ones. Oh my gosh, those were excellent. Call of Duty series have gone completely off track. As a matter of fact, I think Modern Warfare was the last one that I played. That was the Modern Warfare 1. I lost total interest in it. Totally lost interest completely and utterly. Had no interest at all. So some older games are great. Some older games, of course, are nonsense. But most of you say, yeah. And they're listing games here as well. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you guys did comment here and detail what games that you liked that were older and more memorable. The one I mentioned that I liked, Dead Space. That's another one. Of course, I mean, I almost started my whole 3D gaming adventure, including 3D Game Man, me, and whatnot with Wolfenstein, and then Quake, and then Doom, and then everything else started to come after that. Just amazing to see it come from nothing to what it's come today, which is incredible. And I will be at the end of the show here, kind of when I get through all these poll questions, going through a new game, which is like a body cam game, and it looks just brilliant. I think the Unreal Engine 5 is going to just, I think this year, the end of this year or next year, is going to be great when it comes to gaming. I just hope that the developers can, be somewhat original and not lie completely on graphics only. So that would be my hope. All right, so on to the next one here. Do you prefer games that challenge you or games that are more relaxing? So the questions are challenging, relaxing, both, or other. Both. Most people go with both, and I can see that. And it's exactly the same for me. Some days I might feel like playing Doom, right? Some days I might feel like playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, actually, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that is both very relaxing, but also crazy, right? So it can be both. So some games, very rarely, games are both. And I think games that are both are games that will be stellar and games that will really work for the audience. And I think those games are the games that, have become hits. Of course, it depends on the year and what people are interested in and all the rest of it. Because if you look back at Wolfenstein, it was one mission there and that was it, right? Or Doom or Quake or whatnot. That was completely a gun and you just run and gun. But it's interesting to see, though, how over the years, how it's all changed. It's went from run and gun to what it is today. I mean, there's games just about farming. There's games about swimming in the ocean, That's great. And people have wide interests. So, yeah, most people want a game that is challenging and a game that is relaxing. So there you go. And oddly enough, or maybe not, most people prefer relaxing games over challenging games. That's a bit of a shock. Not much, but a few. All right, on to the next one here. How important is it How important is it to you to have the latest and most advanced technology, whether it be in a smartphone, a camera, a video card, a CPU, a console, etc.? Very important. Not that important. Not important to me. Wow. So for most people, it's not that important. And honestly, I think most people would probably want the latest and greatest, but due to new products costing a lot of money, you can't afford it, right? So you go maybe a generation back, or you go the not the highest end, but just one or two back from the highest end, whatever it is, just to save money. And typically that's what the majority of people do. If you're super rich and you have tons of money, and it doesn't matter if you spend 20 grand or 1 grand or 100 grand, then you're not going to care. You're just going to throw away the latest new old item that you had and buy a new item, right? Not very environmentally friendly, but it is what it is. But majority of people, it's not that important to have the latest and greatest. I'm the same way. I really would like the latest and greatest, but I'm not going to throw away, money just to get the latest and greatest, everything that's out there. So you would need to be a multi-millionaire to do that, whether it be, a house or a car or a watch or a phone or food or whatever it may be, right? So that will be extremely, extremely expensive. Yeah, and the other side of it is, if this product that you get, whether it be a car or a video card, let's just say it's a video card, and if you have a monitor that's 1080p, do you need to get a 4090? No, you really don't, right? If you're playing at that resolution. If you're playing at 4K plus and you want all the eye candy on, then you might need to get a 4090. But most people don't need a 4090. They don't. I got a 4090. Maybe it's bragging rights. If it's that, then that's completely different. But most of us, no. I game at 1440p. So, and I have a 3080, and I can pretty much push almost every game with most of the eye candy on. Most of the games I have all the eye candy on, like in Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. And I play it natively. And because I have a 3080, DLSS is it's not that great. They're revising it. I don't use DLSS. I find it makes things a little blurry, and it just doesn't look right to me. Now the 4000 series video cards will do a better job at, and they have DLSS 3. So that will be a better option to go for if you want to enable that. It's an AI kind of software where it upscales basically, and it just makes things look amazing. So it's wonderful technology. It certainly is, but I don't use it. I was actually looking at an article on that the other day where someone did some kind of a poll on how many people use DLSS. And I was surprised, to be honest. It looks like the majority of people that have the 4000 series video cards enable DLSS more often than the people who have the 3000 series video cards, which would be me. So it was like 80% for the 4000 series video cards and around 20 to 30%, I believe, of the people enabling DLSS for the 3000 series video cards. So that I thought that was very interesting. So I just have things native. So I have the games playing, in my case, at 1440p, and I have no DLSS enabled. And the main reason for that is that Red Dead Redemption 2 is not great with that. I wish Rockstar would update that I wish they would keep updating that game to the latest version of version 2 of DLSS. Now you can go ahead and go into Nexus Mods and you can get a mod to update DLSS, but it can mess the game up and stuff. So I'm not going to really bother doing that myself personally, although I have installed many mods on games in the past. I'm typically now I'm not installing a whole lot of mods on games. I find sometimes it can break them. So, and if it breaks them, and if it breaks your saved games, that could be a tragedy. All right, so on to the next poll question here. This is an important one. How often do you back up your important data? Now, this is shocking. This is a shocking poll. So how often do you back up your important data? Hourly, daily, monthly, yearly, or never? Most people at 52% say never. This is the scariest poll I think I've ever done. Folks, if you have important data, make sure you back it up outside of the cloud. Make sure you back up your data. Make sure you back up your data. Make sure you back up your data. And what I personally do is I usually have it backed up twice. So I have the original copy, some of it's in the cloud, and I have 2 other copies of it. And you don't need to back up every single day, every hour, every time it's modified. You don't need to do that. You can just load your backup program once a week, at least. At least you have a copy of it a week ago. And to be honest, a lot of files you don't probably need. They don't need to be updated like every single day or whatever. So, but down from most people never backing up their data, it's yearly, and then it just goes down from there. So, yeah. This is a very scary poll. Okay, on to the next one here. How important is energy efficiency and sustainability in technology products to you? Now, this is a green question, right? Because everything today is about being green. I won't get into that because that's a topic that sets me off for sure. But in any case, the questions were very, very important. Yeah, it's important to me. Not so important. Doesn't matter to me. Majority of people say, yeah, it's important to me. And the next one from that is not so important. People are all over the place with this. You know what's hilarious about, energy efficiency and sustainability and all the rest of it is we think, for example, maybe by doing certain things, we are helping the environment. And that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. Buying energy efficient products, buying less of things, buying things that are sustainable, being sustainable yourself, it's all good. However, if you have 1,000 or 2,000 billionaires around the planet basically they spend probably more in a year than 1 million people do in a year. So, on one side, you've got a lot of people trying to be sustainable, and then a few who eat up a heck of a lot of resources. So it's hilarious to me when you hear from these leaders, when you hear from these elites, whether they be in corporations or whatever they're in, talking about all this stuff, setting up rules, setting up all these plans, and, is it for them? Or is it for us? But again, let me reiterate, it's important to be environmentally conscious for sure. We want the planet to be around. How much of an impact are we personally having on the planet? Nobody, I don't think, really, really knows that and cannot answer that question. And I don't know how much truth is actually getting out and to us directly because, you've got to think about politics, you got to think about companies, you got to think about revenue, you got to think about jobs, you got to think about the infrastructure of your particular country. So it's very, very, very complicated. So this is a loaded, very loaded question here about how important is energy efficiency and sustainability in products to you. But yeah, I try the best that I can try. I try to keep a product for as long as I can keep it. I kind of try and buy, maybe if I'm buying a fridge, let's say, try to buy one that's efficient, but most of them are fairly efficient these days anyway. That's good. It's funny though. The more efficient products get, the more energy costs go up, right? So you never can win as a customer. You know, you're saving the planet, but you're never really winning. Your fridge is like 1,000 times more efficient than it used to be, but your energy costs are even higher than they used to be. So, yeah. Anyway, next one. What is your preferred method of learning new technology skills? Now, I might have covered this last week. I don't know, but who cares? Let's do it again. So how important is your learning? Let me say this again. Maybe I need some more tea before I ask this question again. What is your preferred method of learning new technology skills? Online courses, in-person classes, self-teaching, or all of the above? For me personally, it's all of the above because I've done all of them. But most people self-teaching, and I can see that today. I think personally, the whole education system needs to be revamped, and we need to be teaching children from day one about the basics, writing, arithmetic, math, and also finances, family values, the core values. That's from my perspective. Are we ever going to use all this stuff about advanced math, advanced physics, advanced chemistry, advanced social studies, advanced whatever it is, going up through, from JK to SK to kindergarten to your junior high school, if you have one, to high school? No, probably not. And if you've ever went to college or university, I went to university, how much do you remember after doing 40, 80, or 100 courses, how much of that are you going to actually draw on, pull on, and use in your current profession, job, or life going forward? So I think personally, the basics should be taught more because that's the foundation. It's like the earth you walk on. That's my view. So with that, I'm going to end it. I think. Yes, I think I did ask this question in the last one about self-driving cars. Well, that's covered anyway. How do you feel about the use of self-driving cars and other autonomous vehicles? They're the best thing since sliced bread. No way. I prefer to actually drive. Not sure how I feel. Well, I can tell you this. I want to be in control. I don't want a self-driving car myself personally, at least not yet. And if I don't want to drive somewhere, I'll get someone to drive me, like Uber or a friend or a family member or something, right? But, are they safe? Maybe. Will they be safe in the future? I think so. I think you're going to get to a point where they will become probably safer than human drivers. But it's coming. We can't stop it. Autonomous vehicles are coming, definitely. They're being implemented in some urban areas on the planet right now where, it's a basic system where, for example, let's just say, a truck, for example, there's two trucks, a trucking company. The truck in front, there's a driver in, and the truck behind it, there's not a driver in. The truck behind it follows that truck, and you could have 2 or 3 or 4 more trucks behind that truck. So that's an example, of autonomous vehicles being used, probably in more of a safer, responsible way. But when you get AI to the point where you can push more power at it, like, for example, quantum computing, I think we're going to go autonomous. Definitely. So that is it. We've gotten through all of these poll questions over the last 7 days. And let me just hop on here to the chat and see what's going on first. People talking about GPUs. I think video cards have always been one of my favorite components in a computer system. That's another poll question, if I remember it. I mean, if you look back at, 3DFX, for example, the gaming company, in my opinion, that started it all, the Voodoo series, right? Man. But they were expensive back then. I hear you. I see you, Ricky. He's talking about a game. I will be covering that. Oh, you're welcome. I think you're thanking me, Gregory, for the stream. I'm trying to do this, like I said, every single Saturday. It's, it's fun. It's fun doing this. And like I said, I don't know if you guys mind it or not, but a lot of you can't get to this show, so I chop it up throughout the week. And, it's good content, I think. It's informative content. I hope it helps people. I hope it contributes somehow. That's been my goal from day one. And this person, Digital Mandave, says we need more human interaction. No? Yes, we do. Is the future going that way? Absolutely not. And that is something that also should be taught in kindergarten and, high schools. Humans are social beings. Animals are social beings. Look at cats. Look at monkeys. God, look at any animal, right? We're still animals. We still need interactions. We still need, the close touch, the close feeling, the close interactions. And that brings me to another point, because it always does. One thing leads to another. About me doing a live show with someone else. I would love to do that, but that will probably never happen because people are doing their own thing and the timing of it all and all the rest of it. But who knows? You never know. Oh, that would be so cool. Who do I get though? Oh, yes. I had lots. Someone's asking me here about the Voodoo 3DFX cards. Oh, you better believe it. I had one in an SLI configuration. Incredible. I mean, it was just incredible. And those cards back then, they were not cheap. I mean, I remember them being, I think, $400 to $600, $700, $800. And that was, I don't know, like 20 years ago. So people complain about, the 4000 series NVIDIA cards being $2,000, $3,000. So if you were to do the math on it, it's still expensive. I don't argue with people when they say that. And I think the same thing. I think there's no way in hell I'm paying $2,000 or $3,000 just for a video card, unless there's a full lifetime warranty on it, on everything on the card. There's no way. It's not happening. Not happening. Yeah, you were 15 at the first time that you got your dedicated video card in 2006. Time flies, eh? You might, maybe you're young right now, but time flies very, very quickly. The decades slip by, and time flies by even faster when you get older. Even though you get up earlier, it's funny how that works. Somehow, but that's it, man. It's just a journey. Enjoy it, the goods and the bads, because there will be both in your life. Just a struggle. The life is not easy. But there are some moments, some wonderful moments. Enjoy them. You still have an old ATI card. Yeah, I reviewed a lot of ATI products, thanks to HIS, and they no longer exist. Yeah. All right, so let's get on to the next part of the show here. How much time do we have here? We have a little while longer, so. 32, man, you're young. You're very young. But I was 32 once, and your father was, and your grandfather was, and, everyone, so, enjoy it. You can't slow it down, really, and life goes by quick because we're so busy. And even if you're not busy, you're bored, and then time goes slow, but it's just, it's horrible, If you stayed home all day and did nothing, well, that causes other problems. And that's a whole other topic there about that. And there's a lot of people these days that are doing that. Working from home, sleeping at home, being at home, staying. That's not a good plan. Not a good plan. So let's go on to the next part of the show here. This should be somewhat interesting, hopefully. First part here is about NVIDIA has released another driver, if you can believe this. NVIDIA has released a couple of new drivers in the last week. It's crazy. Usually they release one every month or so. So this driver is not much of anything, to be honest. It fixes a few bugs. And of course, most of these new game-ready drivers are released to fix or to be compatible with newer games or to work better in newer games. And this is the Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 looks like a decent game overall. I have to say, though, I'm not really that interested in these zombie running around first-person shooter games so much anymore. Who knows? In a couple years, I might be, but right now I am not. Star Wars Jedi, though, wow, that's a great game. I haven't played that yet because, well, I'm kind of like a one-game kind of guy, and I want to make my way through one game and master that game kind of first, and then make my way through another one. I'm not a person who plays 2 or 3 or 4 games all at the same time. Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm still into that, and I'm trying to get through Chapter 6, So, but that game goes on forever and ever. There's so many side missions, but it's so awesome. Take your time if you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, or if maybe you played it but you just flew through the story, go back, take your time, get through it. However, you're going to need a lot of time to devote to it. So if you don't have that time, well, that's something different, right? You need a lot of time. So that's the new driver, and the version is 53168. So maybe that's a reminder to some of you out there that you can go ahead and grab new NVIDIA driver that they have. And I updated this driver, and it seems to be fine. I mean, for me at least, I have a 3 display setup. I do a nice bit of video editing and photo editing and all the rest of it, gaming, and I haven't noticed any problems at all on this. And I would recommend doing this for any new driver release, no matter what product it is. Go to Google the driver and then put Reddit at the end of it, and it will take you to Reddit and see what they're talking about it over there. It's a great resource to see if maybe there's problems with the driver. And I use that resource a lot, and I find it good. So yeah. All right. So how many of you out there use MSI Afterburner? Because this is something that's been installed on my system forever, along with Riva Tuner. Some people say Riva Tuner or Riva Tuner. Riva Tuner? Riva? Most people say Riva, not Riva, but I've heard people say both. I'm going to call it Riva tuner. Anyway, MSI Afterburner has seemingly come back from the dead with regards to a stable, version, which is version 4.6.5 with lots of new features. And this is part and parcel to do, I guess, with the new NVIDIA RTX 4000 series GPUs and the Radeon 7900 series video cards. This is certainly good to see. Also, there's some support in here for the memory, the GDDR6X version of the 3060 Ti. And as well, there's some superficial support in here for the new Intel GPUs for monitoring purposes only. You can't use this, unfortunately, to overclock those cards. And I'm not sure you would want to. Anyway, I haven't experienced these Intel GPUs. And from what I hear, I have really no interest in it. They're interesting, they're cheap, and they work. But yeah, but Intel keep doing it. Competition is healthy. And I hope to see more if they can come in with some newer cards that are competing with AMD and NVIDIA. Yes, please. That would be awesome. And if they could do it at half the price. So, yep. And by the way, the reason why apparently MSI Afterburner is not supporting the Intel GPUs is due to the fact that the Intel hardware control API is limited to 16-bit applications only. So, and also remember to update the Riva tuner, however you want to say it. Upgrade it. It's currently, I believe the current version is 7.3.4. So, but those two, in my opinion, go hand in hand. And what that statistics server software does is it gives you, like, for example, all kinds of information about your video card, the temperature of your card, how much memory you have, whether it be on the video card, on your system. It's a great resource for figuring out, the frames per second. And that's what most people use, right? They look at the speeds of their GPU memory, temperature, and frames per second. And it's nice to pop it up every now and then to see actually how the game is performing. And if it feels sluggish, it's probably at a frames per second where you want to go in to your game settings and change, the graphical settings to get it above 60 frames per second at least. So there you have it when it comes to MSI Afterburner and Riva tuner. Now I'm going to get on to this. This is very interesting. Actually, I saw this a couple of days ago pop up into my feed. And I wasn't sure at the beginning about this, whether it was real or not. But if you guys have not seen this, Google OnRecord. So OnRecord is a single player first-person shooter that tells the story of a tactical police officer from the perspective of his body cam. So that's interesting because that's a different perspective. And I saw the little section that they had play through, and it looks so real, and the perspective, in my opinion, works because, it's the body cam, so it's right in front of the weapon. Now, I would love these games also because I prefer a third-person shooter over a first-person shooter or this new, body cam perspective. I hope that they can make it also be a third person. That would be awesome. And from what I understand, this game OnRecord is using the Unreal Engine 5. But the visuals on this, they look real. And I'm talking real. All the visuals, the movement, the reflections, the shadows, the interactions, it's scary. And some people are saying that this is not real. This, is not actual in-game play. Now, I did see another video on this where they were using the Unreal editor, and that person was showing how, you know, they were changing things as they go. So it did look real to me, and it is on Steam. Steam does have this listed. So I would imagine if it's on Steam, then, you know, Steam probably did some research as to, and they're involved with this developer on this game. So I would imagine if it's on Steam, it's probably real. But Google it on record if you haven't seen this game. There's also another one that's coming out, and I suspect there will be more, you know, with this new body cam perspective games. And the Unreal Engine, like I said, games that will be released at the end of this year and the beginning of next year going forward using this engine is going to be surreal beyond reality. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. So another one is Paranormal Tales, a scary kind of horror game, you know, where apparently it's a horror game where you must find your lost dog in a pitch black forest. Now that would be very scary for sure. But yeah, have you guys seen this game on record, or the little trailer that they have for it? You've seen the Unreal 5 tech demos and stuff. Yeah, it's incredible, eh? And it's incredible to see like how they can take a video of someone and then take that and put it right, almost like right into the game, make a character on it. And yeah, it's just something else. Just reading the comments here, just reading through here. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on the Unreal Engine 5, the Matrix showcase, and all the other showcases and tech kind of demos and things that I've seen with this engine, they're just incredible. I mean, just absolutely stunning. I hope Red Dead Redemption 3 uses this engine. Maybe not. We'll see. You know, probably not, but it's going to be really something to look forward to. Because while the games are looking, imagine Aliens. Can you imagine playing an Aliens game like this? Jeez, you'd be frightened out of your socks. You'll need to have some serious hardware, though. Serious hardware. And this, I think, is where DLSS and technologies like it will come into play as well, right? Especially if you have 4K monitors. All right, so let's on the next thing. This is that was wonderful talking about, you know, these new games coming up in Unreal Engine 5, and again, if you haven't discovered this game on record, Google it. It's crazy, and from what I see and from what I've heard, it is real and it is on Steam. So good. First, when I saw it, I thought it wasn't, and I thought, oh, well, you know, and then I Google it. I'm like, oh gosh, thank goodness, this is actually going to be. Hopefully a real game. Now, will it look like this? Maybe, maybe not. Will it look as good as this? Maybe not. Maybe it will look better because this is only the initial, you know, this is only the initial stage. I don't know how far, you know, this game is off and release. Could be 2 years from now. Could be next year. Could be the end of this year. Who knows? I think you're going to see a lot more small developers pushing out games. And I think you're going to end up with some amazing games. And I think there's going to be more games. And I think the games are probably going to get cheaper. I'm not sure. However, I suppose what happens is the smaller guys who produce these games, the big developers will buy the game or offer some kind of a deal. So I'm not sure about that. All right. Did you guys hear about this? First of all, I should ask, do you guys have a VPN? A virtual private network? Software. A software VPN. So if you don't have a VPN, a virtual private network, this is basically, I mean, I'm sure you guys know what a VPN is, but it's basically a way of keeping yourself private on your own little island, you know, and people kind of can't find out where you are. You know, you could be coming from, it could seem like you're in, I don't know, India, and you're not. You're somewhere else in the world. Not all VPNs will do this though. Some you can set your location, right? But in any case, VPNs, remember, most of them store the data. So, you know, nothing you do online is truly private. Also keep that in mind. So Google has a VPN, very basic. It doesn't really, I think location wise, it still, you know, says you're in whatever country you're in. And that's for your reasons, for example, Netflix and streaming services and your location actually in the country that you are from, which for me, I don't really care about that. But so Google VPN is a very basic on-off kind of VPN. That's it. You can put this on your phone, your tablets, your laptops, even a MacBook, you can put it on, right? And why I'm talking about VPN, especially from Google today, is the fact that recently, and I'm not sure when this happened, but I think it was within the last few days or last week, Google VPN is now free, but it's free not to the top tier Google One plans. It's free for any plan. So if you're paying into like a cloud service for Google, the basic one I think is what is it? The basic one. I think it's here it is here. I think it's 100. What is the basic one? I don't even know. I think it's 100 gigabytes is the basic one. Even that one is VPN comes with it for free. And I think this is great. I think before it was you had to go top tier, like 2 terabytes or something you needed to get the VPN free. Now, say what you want about Google, you know, tracking data, storing data, and yes, 100% it's happening. I agree with you. But where do you go? What do you do? You know, I don't know. You know, if you want to be completely incognito, then don't do this, right? For sure. This is a basic VPN that might or might not in some way protect you. Probably a good idea though, if you're logging your phone or your tablet or your laptop into networks that are not so secure. You know, so yes and no. But it's good to see that Google is actually offering this for free now, even on all of their plans. You don't have to be paying the top dollar for the top one. So yeah, that's a good thing. So Netflix is the next topic here I'll be discussing. Is I didn't even know that they were still offering this. So Netflix apparently were still sending out DVDs. Netflix was still sending out DVDs? Is this true? I heard this popped up in my news and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. They were still sending out DVDs? I guess so. But anyway, they stopped. They're not doing this anymore. That's it. That's the end of it for sending out DVDs if you're with Netflix. So if you're just hearing about this, you might want to contact Netflix, or maybe you've got an email already. I don't know. But yeah, Netflix and DVDs. Jeez. All right, so next thing's about a couple games here that are free. Beyond Blue. Now, this is a single-player narrative adventure that takes you into the deep blue oceans. So I can see where this would be a very relaxing game to play, right? If you want to be chilled out, for sure. Swimming around in the oceans. Look at this. This looks wonderful. Yeah, and it's free. Bam. Go ahead and get that. Another free one is Never Alone, and this looks like an amazing game. It got some great reviews. just, it's a scroller kind of. It looks wonderful. And I've played through some of these scrollers and they're brilliant. They really take you away, you know? You wouldn't think they would, but they do. But they do it in a different kind of way. But for this to be free, wonderful. Get this, Never Alone for sure. Now, this apparently, well, I have it in my library already. So this apparently was free a while back. I'm not sure when it was. I have not gotten to playing this particular one, but I am looking forward to it. It's on my list to play. Like I said, if I ever get through Red Dead Redemption 2. And then after Red Dead Redemption 2, I was thinking about maybe hitting The Witcher 3. Not sure. I'll see how I feel. Someone in here said Netflix destroyed itself. Well, I don't think so. I mean, you know, with this password stuff, I've given up on Netflix. I'm done. I was with them for over a decade, and this is just nuts, right? I have no interest in that kind of thing, and I suppose they're all going to end up doing it at some point, you know, and whatever. But I don't have Netflix anymore. I have Paramount now, and I really don't care what I'm watching as long as I can find something on a platform that's decent to watch, and you know, finding the time to watch shows as well is another thing. But there is a lot of content on Netflix. There's no doubt about it. But you know, I heard one thing about they're now making more money than they ever did, even since all this password stuff. So, you know. So anyway, so this Never Alone game here on Epic is free. By the way, you know, I'm sure you have an Epic subscription and you're probably with Epic, but make sure you go over and at least, I mean, I download most of these free games just in case I would want to play them. Not now, but maybe 2 years from now, you know, so, but yeah, this is a good game. And I think this is a game I mentioned already. Aliens Firestorm Elite. I tried this, didn't really like it. I think it would work well in a co-op, but no, it's a run and gun kind of just shoot and repeat and rinse and repeat and shoot and so on and so forth. This is you can pick this game up for really, really cheap, but it's very positive. The reviews on this are pretty good. People like it, so yeah, that's a good thing. So, but I tried it, didn't like it. But it's free for another day, I believe, or 2 days. I think it's free for the weekend. So you can give it a try if you don't like it. You know, no harm, right? And this is the game that I was just talking about on record. You know, it just looks completely and utterly real. And like I said before, I did see another video where this game was shown in the editor. So apparently this is real. And I just noticed someone saying that Steam doesn't vet the games. Really? You think they would do some kind of research into the developer before creating a whole landing page for a game? But this looks like, wow, you know, it's breathtaking. It's real. I mean, for all intents and purposes. But look at the perspective, right? It's from a body cam perspective here. So, yeah, it looks good. It looks like something to definitely look forward to. All right, so let me get to some of the other comments here. Yeah, I'm not, you know, I mean, the other thing is about YouTube dying. Will it? Probably won't. I mean, maybe, you don't know. I mean, you know, back when all this like password stuff was going on with Netflix, you know, people were saying it's going to end up like Blockbuster. It probably won't. But YouTube is growing and growing, and so is Netflix. I mean, they've gotten some they have a lot of famous people that are producing content for them. So, and you know how the majority of people are, right? You know, they, if they're forced to pay more, you know, you put your hands up in the air and go, oh, well, I'll pay more for less. Or I'll pay more and be more restricted, you know. What I always really hated too is about, you know, with the CRTC in Canada, and we can't get the same stuff as they get in Europe. We can't really get the same stuff as they get in the United States. Like, what's all that about? Seriously? No, I know what it's about. It's about money. Yeah, I mean, the thing is there's so many people now online, and they're on multiple platforms, right? So, like for example, even streaming services. Some people have Netflix, they have Paramount, they have you know, the Apple, they have Amazon, they have, you know, they have all these services, and they watch shows on all of them. So there's more variety. People, I don't know, seemingly people have more time than they used to watch stuff and listen to stuff, and it's growing and growing and growing and growing. There's more content today than ever, and I guess this will continue. And boy, wait till AI gets to a point where you can, because it's almost there. Within a few months, I predict this, within a few months, a lot of video editors, and you can probably do this online, you will just text to video. You'll be able to text in a script, which AI will create. You throw it into some kind of online video editor or an editor, like for example, DaVinci Resolve or Premiere or whatever that's on your computer system, and it will make you a video or a movie, you know? So, but that's going to make a lot of content next to useless, and it will also elevate a lot of content. Like for example, live streams like this, where, you know, a real person is talking on camera, and, you know, so I think it will be bad. It will be good. Who knows? It will be helpful for certain, but you're going to get a lot of content out there. Is it authentic? That's questionable, right? If an AI generates a script, and if an AI, you know, develops the characters, the images, the graphics, the visuals, I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly a very interesting world today in 2023, and you know, I do agree with a few billionaires with regards to trying to recommend to the higher ups to try and maybe put a cap on AI, at least for now, to see what's happening, where it's going, how it's going to be used. You know, freedom is great. However, if you have such powerful tools that some people get access to, and those tools can be used for evil, then that's not a good thing. And you know as well as I do that, you know, that's inevitable, right? So, but a lot of these platforms now are, you know, even if you still use Chat GPT-3, for example, I mean, that's very powerful. You can summarize a book in 2 paragraphs in seconds. You know, you can also, like, for example, the image story that you're seeing up here. This is generated by AI. I just typed in sunset with trees. This is what I got. And you can do this instantly. You know, it's miraculous. It truly is. I've mentioned this to a few of my friends and a few other people, and surprisingly enough, they don't know much about it. Yeah, I think YouTube, someone just said YouTube is here to stay. Yeah. I think it is too. You know, I think a lot of these popular streaming platforms are also here to stay. I can see maybe some platforms buying out other platforms or something like that, maybe what happened, but you know, I just noticed that this screen here is shading my face with the light. It's not a good thing, is it? Or maybe it is. So I don't even know if I really need this, to be honest. I've always had it, and I'm sure it helps with the popping. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's going to be it, guys. We're looking at an hour plus here. So anything else before I run along and start my day? And I don't know. It doesn't look like it's a good day here. It's raining and 10 degrees Celsius. So that's not good. But you know what? Some days you can't do. Some days the weather forces you to do different things. So today we'll not be out taking pictures. Oh, and speaking of pictures, this is something that I can pop up here. So you remember a few weeks back when there was a full moon? I took a picture of the full moon with my Canon R7. Yeah, looks good, right? And this was not using that 600 millimeter Canon lens that I have. This was using the stock lens that came with the R7, which is an excellent lens. It's an 18 to 150. Use a tripod. But I thought it was a great shot. Yeah, nice, right? Yeah. And, you know, I'm pretty much in the heart of Southern Ontario, so there's lots of city lights around me. So I was kind of surprised. But this is the moon. This is the moon. And this is a bunch of bird shots. Now, these ones I've already produced a video on this. I have another video that I'm releasing, I think today or tomorrow, where I went out again taking pictures with my 600 millimeter lens. It's a great lens. And there were chipmunks running around. There were deer running around. All kinds of birds running around. But yeah, like I said, I will be releasing that video today or sometime in the future. You know, it's funny when you have a beard. Oh, and by the way, I did shave off the sides here on the beard. I probably will shave this off as well when summer hits because, you know, it gets kind of warm and hot. And so, but I have a funny way of, I have to try to teach myself not to put my hands against my face, but it's so difficult when you have a beard. I'm not sure what that's about, but you just want to. I don't know. So if you see guys with beards and they have their hands to their face all the time, it's nothing but, I don't know, wanting to touch it. That was a little weird. So let's get on to the bird shot. So this is another shot I took. And this was actually zoomed right in. This wasn't cropped at all. This, the moon shot, of course, that was cropped. But this wasn't. This is another picture of a little robin here. A red-breasted robin. Little guy. This wasn't cropped either. And look at this. Look at this little guy. It's a male cardinal. Beautiful. This is one of the prettiest birds. Just kind of sitting there, looking at me directly. Long distance away, though. This was cropped, too. This bird was a long distance away. And notice, It was hidden away behind some branches. Still very clear. This was using that 600 millimeter lens. And remember, the R7, Canon R7, has a crop factor of 1.6. So that's I think 960 mils. So you're looking at almost 1,000 mil camera. And I have stabilization on the body and stabilization on the lens. So that enables me to get shots like this. Someone says here, Rodney, you are liking this Canon. Yeah, I am. I mean, I've been taking, I'm a bit of an amateur photographer. I love taking pictures. I love coming back after taking a bunch of pictures and going through them. So, yeah, I thought this was a nice one. But, oh, and something else as I'm going through these different things here on OBS Studio. Remember to pick yourself up a t-shirt, even if you already have one. Yeah, I agree with you. Some of the shots that I've taken with this Canon R7, even with the stock lens, just incredible. And I put it in a burst mode. So if you take, say, 30 shots of the same thing, you'll get one or two that will be dead on, dead clear. And of course, if you shoot in manual, you know there's certain settings, and especially the shutter speed, if you're shooting wildlife photography, certain things about it is very important. So this is the shirt. We all know about this shirt. We all know about this saying, unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable. I have these shirts up for sale as well. If you want to support me, you can by purchasing a t-shirt. I know they're a little bit on the high side when it comes to cost. However, you know, it's a little bit of a thank you to me. And obviously there is some markup on this, but it is what it is, right? But if you want one, you can go ahead and grab one. I've also made one of these. This is with the logo. See the logo at the top here? So if you want the logo, there's one. If you don't want the logo, you can get this one. And yeah, so that's going to, I think that's about it. I think I covered everything in this show. It ran a little longer than normal, but that's okay. It's raining. Maybe I should stay on here and go the whole day. Live streaming on Saturdays the whole day. Yeah, bigger holes in the back killed the removable motherboard trays. Yeah, kind of. Oh, yes, I do have baseball caps and stuff, too. This is just a demo of the shirts, right? This is just, yeah. But the baseball cap actually is a little bit more affordable, too, and so are the mugs and stuff, but... Well, you know, it's wonderful to do longer streams, but what I will end up doing, unless I have new content, is just go ramble about the same stuff probably over and over and over. Because, you know, with the polls that I post every single day, they give me something to talk about. And with the news that I monitor throughout the week, that also gives me something to talk about. And of course, interactions with you guys, that as well gives me something to talk about. It would seem that today, though, we didn't have anyone come on here that was acting like a lunatic. So that's a plus. That's something at least, right? Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, maybe I will produce one that says 100% kick-ass. I had one back in the day. I don't know if I would make the same one as back in the day or not, if you know what I mean. If you have a 100% Kick-Ass t-shirt from me, then you know what I'm talking about here, but someone just thanked me for the Inwind Dragon Slayer case review that I did 12 years ago. I bought that and loved it. Yeah. Looking back now, 23 years. 23 years. In the year 2000, I started doing reviews. Sure, no problem. Yeah. The problem with starting to act like a lunatic on here is that someone else is going to probably end up banning you. It won't be me because of how I have things set up here. And if you're acting like a lunatic, again, like I said before, that is on you and you alone. So I think more and more people will join over time as I continue to do these live shows. At least that's what I'm hoping. But again, I'm using these live shows and I'm finding it wonderful for content because I can chop it up right and put it in shorts. So. You know, if I did this, for example, on TikTok, there probably would be like, I don't know, 300 or 400 people in here right now. I'm not doing that at the moment. Maybe I should, maybe I will stream this to multiple platforms in the future. But I do stream, like I said, I do cut this up and post content about this. And I don't know if I'm mistaken or not on this fact, but I believe live streams on TikTok, they're not recorded. Not that I would care really for TikTok, but I think they can be if you reach a certain viewer count or subscriber count on there. I kind of got on TikTok just to get on TikTok, just kind of see what kind of feedback I would get from it. And it's been good, actually, surprisingly. I wasn't sure what to think of TikTok at first, but TikTok is a resource that if you're not on TikTok, you might want to go over there. If you go over there, just remember you're going to be pushed probably a lot of nonsense. However, some of it is not on regular broadcast programming that's paid for your government. So with that being said, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, maybe things you don't want to know about that are happening in the world. You'll find them on places like Rumble and TikTok, right? And some other platforms that probably I'm not even aware of. Yeah, I'll try to push up one of those shirts, maybe 100% Kick-Ass shirt. TV tuner cards. Yeah, that was one of the first things that I've ever reviewed, and I love them, actually. I use them all of the time. They were a little finicky, like everything was back then. Yeah, the ATI TV tuner. I thought that was like amazing when it came out. A TV inside your computer? They died though, didn't they? Now we have streaming services instead of, yeah. One person here, Google Gaggle. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Gaggle, I guess. I just went to search for old content, and top recommendation was you. Yeah, this is actually me in a live stream. No, not dead. I'm not a zombie. That's funny. Were you a subscriber before, or? Or is this the first that you've seen me or heard about me? Ah, Gaggle of Geese. Yes. Yeah, well, certainly have a lot of older content on this platform, surpassing 3,500 videos that I've done so far on the channel. And I will continue certainly to produce lots of content because I love doing this, and I started doing it for my love, really, in computers, and I wanted to kind of spread it to everyone else, and I think I've succeeded in that at least. Well, Gaggle, I'm not sure if you are aware, but I started this whole entire industry. I started it I think it was even before the year 2000, but I started it around 5 or 6 years before YouTube started. So some of you here who've been with me ever since the beginning, well, you know that fact, but all of this gets lost in translation, right? And history and whatnot. So many other people doing reviews these days. And I made a comment, I think, to someone here in a poll, I believe it was, about, reviewers. And it's to the point now where everyone is on camera, just about, every person and their dog, including their dog, is on camera. Any of you, by the way, have channels or are on camera all the time and producing content? You stumbled on my content when you were in your teens. I think a lot of people did, actually. And now you're who knows, you're all grown up. Cool. You've been here since the website. That's going back, man. Thank you. Thank you for being here, sticking with me for all this time. Means a lot, Yeah, you know what? Producing content is time consuming, irregardless. Like, even for me to recycle what I'm doing here, for example, it takes time, right? You got to import it, chop it all up, produce it, render it, upload it. You got to sometimes make, video images to overlay on thumbnails and stuff. So it's a lot of work. If you like doing it, good. It's great. If it's something for you to do, if it, because right now I'm doing this, I think, more for myself. Not to sound selfish, but I'm kind of doing it because I love doing it and I want to do it. And it's not really something that, oh my God, I got to do this today. It's not that anymore, right? And it kind of got to that point when I decided in 2016 to say bye-bye, which I didn't tell anyone because I didn't really know whether, I was going to say bye-bye or not. And I was one foot in, one foot out. And yeah, I mean, if you have, like I said, if you have a life, a job, friends, family, hobbies, to put this into the mix, it is a lot of extra work, and I wish more people understood. When you see videos out there that are completely polished, like we're talking polished, they take a tremendous amount of time to produce. Yes, I know, Ricky. I know I know a lot of you miss my reviews. I miss them in some respects. I don't miss having to struggle and tear my hair out to produce them, though. And there's also pressures, of course, to produce them, to keep producing the content with regards to reviews. Also to, one up, to satisfy in some respects your sponsors, and I don't care what any reviewer says about that. There's always that's put into the mix. What I did was I contacted sponsors directly for the most part to request products that I thought were good. I wanted to review decent products. I didn't want to review, junk. So, which would make sense, right? Yeah, like you said, if you work all day and you are tired at the end of the day and you just want to sit back and watch a streaming service of some sort, then and that gives you comfort, then that's what you probably should do. And unless, of course, gaming or producing content is something that you find stress relieving, then that's a good thing. And that's where I am right now. But if you've noticed and followed me since I think I've been back now a year, since last April. If you've followed me since I've came back, I'm all over the place, right? I've produced cooking videos. I've produced videos where I'm in my kayak, gaming videos. Maybe I've thrown in one or two little tiny reviews here and there about something indirectly. But, so I'm really using this platform now. I suppose it's like more of a personal platform, not a review platform, because that's all I did back in the day. Aside from, a few live shows that I did back then, a few Q&As that I did back then, but it was all about technology. I mean, still for the most part, it's about tech, and that's kind of where I want to stay. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. When you're watching reviews from reviewers on products, the reviewers definitely have a certain obligation, or if they don't, then there is a feeling that you should, be respectful to the company who sent you a product. So that can influence the overall rating of a product. So always, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this, always take the final verdict with a grain of salt. Do some extra research on it, obviously, and make your own decision. If I was to do reviews right now, I don't think I would actually have a rating system. To have some kind of like, well, I kind of like it. I like it a lot, but I don't know if I would actually have a rating system per se. Right. Yeah. See, this is the other side of it. So if you're producing content and if you don't have a tremendous amount of money to spend on ads for yourself on whatever platform it is, the algorithm, in all honesty, is not probably going to pick you up. If you're spending lots of money on ads and your content is regular and it's decent, you're going to get a great audience. Otherwise, you're trying to compete against those people who have become successful, and a lot of them who have paid lots of money for ads on whatever platform they are on. And if all you're doing this for is basically to, monitor how many views and likes and comments you're getting, and if that's consuming your time, don't do it. Don't do it for that reason. Do it because you like it. Do it because you want to do it. And a lot of people get into that trap. You know, you see them on TikTok, you see them on YouTube, and they're producing a lot of content that's just questionable. Like I see, you know, I'm not going to mention, you know, much about that, but you know what I'm talking about. They're producing content but sometimes crazy content gets a lot of hits. So, you know, again, you go to the hits, right? Now, if I saw an alien spaceship when I was out photographing birds, I would try to take a video of it because I would know that would be certainly something that you would be interested in seeing. Black tea. Nice. Jesus, this gets stronger and stronger. It's cold now, but NCIX. Yeah, I never bought much from NCIX. Yeah. A lot of companies, and a lot more companies will probably die off, you know. Online is too bad. I still like the brick and mortar stores, you know. You know. Although I do buy a lot of stuff online. Yeah, you kind of have to go with the flow, right? I mean, rating systems, I don't know, they're kind of tacky now, you know. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. You know, okay. Maybe for a game, maybe because you can, you know, have, 10 criteria and then from that you can get an overall score. That kind of makes sense, I suppose. What have I been playing lately? All I've been playing lately, and I'm a one game kind of guy, is Red Dead Redemption 2. I think I've thrown over 300 hours in that game, and I'm just taking my time going through it. I, again, don't game all the time, every single day, day in and day out. So keep that in mind. So it would take me probably, 2 years to finish a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, and someone else it would take maybe a few months to finish it. And I'm just not blasting through the storyline in Red Dead Redemption 2 like I've done in a lot of games, actually, because the side missions get redundant, they're boring, and all that stuff. So I'm not attracted to the game with a lot of the side missions and things that you can do. But with Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm finding myself in that state where I'm really drawn to all these interesting characters and side missions. Yeah, NCIX. Yeah, now NCIX was big on the West Coast. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think it was. I'm Central, so. Yeah, well, if I shot video of actual UFOs, nobody would believe it anyway. So if you're just joining me, I'm just wrapping up the show right now. Just looking at a few comments and responding to a few people. But this show you can go through the show if you're interested. You can, I will chop this up so you can see those videos throughout the week, and they will be on here, YouTube, but they will also be on TikTok. Memory Express, yeah, they're pretty big now. Canada Computers. I usually actually go into the Canada Computer stores, though I don't think I've ever ordered anything from them online. Amazon, huge. Yep. Yeah, I'm on the fence about Amazon. I try not to buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. To be honest, I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but You know, it's Amazon is Amazon. What can I say? But I would rather, in all honesty, go to Best Buy if it's the same price and actually pick the product up. Who knows? You might want to return it, and it's easier to do that if you buy even online from Best Buy and bring it back to a local store. Just easy, really simple. Return policies through Amazon is simple as well, but it's a little different process. You know, I don't know if I did come across the Cannibal Family House yet. I guess I would have remembered that, right? I don't know. I kind of feel like I might have. Is that the Murphreys? The Murphreys? The Murphreys, right? Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is all over the place, right? It's just so much content in that game. I am going to be going into a pig farmer's house soon in the game before moving on. And I'll have a couple of videos about that coming up. But it's a large man and his beautiful wife, and as you approach their house, the man is saying, come in. But there's something you can do in that particular kind of like a mission, I suppose, in a way, or that interaction that will benefit you in the game later on. So, and that's the pig farmers. But I love how Red Dead Redemption 2, everything is kind of like linked. And in all honesty, if you're not careful and if you don't research it, you could miss it and you might miss out. But it does give the game a lot of replayability, right? Because if you missed it, if you just went through the game for just a storyline, you can go back and replay it. There's a notification for live streams. You talking to me about notification? I thought that you guys would get notified when the live stream goes up. You don't? Oh God, I would hope so. Once I go live, all my subscribers should get the feed. If that's not happening, no wonder. No, I've seen the game Elden Ring. It looks amazing. It's one of those games that I have on my playlist. But like I said, I'm a one game kind of guy, so it takes me a while to get through a game, and then by the time I do, but honestly, I think it's better to wait for a year plus to play a game if you possibly can, because a lot of bugs get fixed in the game, and it takes sometimes 6 months to 2 years for games to get completely and totally fixed. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Look at all the games. Look at Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk wasn't really perfectly playable until patch 1.4? Yeah, GTA 6, that's another one. I started playing GTA 5. I kind of lost interest in it for some reason. Not sure. I think maybe something else came along, another game, and I kind of dropped it. But I wouldn't mind trying to make my way through GTA 5. Witcher 3 too, right? I put 20 hours into that game and kind of gave up on it and was waiting for the remake, the new the revamp of the game, and that's out, but I haven't had time to go back and play it yet. Yeah, there's some things about YouTube I think that's catered towards an ad-based platform, and if you pay for ads, your channel gets notified, and it's a money-making system for Google, and it's not right. It is what it is. Unfortunately, I mean, I think if I owned this, I would reward people who've been here for a while, who are still here, who are still producing content. And there should be something in the algorithm about that, right? I understand there's millions of people on here, so that makes it all very, very complicated. But you know how it goes, right? Yeah, right. I mean, who wants there's no one out there that is, having to click 7 bells and subscriptions and links and notifications on everything about videos that you should be notified for. People just go on YouTube, watch a video, and get off of there. Yeah, I know. I did that a while back. I went through some of the channels that I'm subscribed to and saw which ones are active, which ones are not active, which ones I want to be notified on, which ones I'm not. You know what they should have? This is something that YouTube should have. They should have an AI based system for getting notifications based upon which channels you visit. So if you visit a channel almost 80% of your time, maybe there should be a pop-up or something saying, would you be interested in getting notifications from this channel? And that's an automated system that wouldn't be too intrusive because you're watching that content anyway, and you would probably want to be subscribed or get notified when that particular content provider creates content. So that would be a system that would work, kind of. Exactly. If you're subscribed to a channel, I'm telling you, the majority of people who are subscribed to a channel will think that since I am subscribed to the channel, I will be notified. I don't know why YouTube hasn't gotten this already. I don't know. I mean, this is very basic, Why do you need to have to click 2 or 3 different notification systems? What's a subscription? Right? A subscription, in a way, it's a notification. You're getting something. Yeah, there needs to be a revamp, I think, of how people get notified based upon what they watch on YouTube. And a better, if you go to YouTube, you go to the homepage, it will give you, it will push some content that it thinks that you would like. I know it does that, but I think it can be improved upon. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think it can be. I think there is a better system to be fair to everyone that's providing content. Because I've seen reviews, I've seen content on YouTube or on any platform where that particular content provider is providing content that is 10 times better than someone who's got 2 million subscribers. It's just, it's crazy is what it is. You don't get notified when the stream starts. Crazy. Yeah, well, maybe what I should do is, you get notified though when I release a new video, right? If I upload a new video and make it public. Because maybe what I can do if you do get that when I go ahead and release a video and you get notified. And the question is, how long does it take for YouTube to send out notifications to all of my subscribers? That's the other thing. Maybe it takes an hour. If that's the case, the show is done. Even if you were to get notified. It goes into your subscription list. Yeah. Oh my God. So you don't get notified. Wow. Well, guys, you know what? Go ahead and hit that notification bell. That's all I got to say. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going on 2 hours, so this is probably the longest live show that I've ever done. It is raining today, so I don't have much to do today outside. I will go for a hike probably later. Very mucky hike. Won't be taking the camera along, though. And yeah, I don't care if it's raining, snowing, sleet, hail, whatever. I always, every day, get out for a walk. Every single day. I've been doing that forever. So this is my regimen every single day. This is a health tip from me. Take it for what you want. Walk every day, 30 minutes. Do 10 to 20 military-style push-ups every day. Eat right. Have hobbies. Try to stay positive. Take the good with the bad with the good. And that's it. That's my tip. That's my tip. That's a good way to end, I think, this particular live stream on April the 22nd. So next week, I hope you'll join me then. And next week is the 29th. And I guess everyone's going to be trying to file their taxes, even though in Canada here, the CRA are on strike. And I'm not sure how that's going to affect anything and everything. But in any case, it is what it is. I can understand why they are out there, but, you know, what do you do? You know, it's pretty bad. The wages now compared to living costs. What a joke. What a joke. What a joke. And pretty much everyone is in the same boat. But I will join you all here in a week. And throughout the week, of course, you'll be seeing lots of this content chopped up. And I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy the other videos that I will be releasing throughout the week. There will be more content as well when I go out there and shoot videos. Actually pictures. And usually it's wildlife stuff that I'm taking pictures of. And I'll be posting that. And of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff. I'll be posting some more of that wonderful content as well. So I'm going to do my regular exit here and ask you to please subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can like, share, follow. All that helps me out. Of course, you can be a part of the very, very small community on Patreon right now. That's a great little place where I kind of get a little bit more personal about things. Not a whole lot of content on there because I'm trying to focus mostly, of course, on providing content to YouTube. And of course, that helps all around though. Also, super thanks in these live streams. That's another way. And of course, you can pick up this wonderful shirt here. Unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here all of these years. And if you haven't, and if you are new, well, welcome, and I hope you will stick around. So I will see you all again next Saturday. And I'm going to cook up some eggs and bacon right now. Not so healthy, but you know what? It's tasty. And I don't care what they say about eggs. They're good for you. Eat at least a few a week, if not one every day. With that, bye-bye.